Good afternoon, everybody. We're awaiting quorum, and as soon as we get quorum, we'll begin the meeting. Thank you for your patience. Good afternoon. I'll call together the regularly scheduled meeting of the Community Development and Regulatory Services Committee for today, which is July 11th. I've been joined by Council Members Quincy, Fry, and Reich, which is a quorum of the committee. We have a relatively short agenda with a number of land sales. So before we begin the land sale process, I will move the consent agenda, which is items number 9, 10, 11, and 12. This is a rental license reinstatement, some changes and contract amendments to the Great Streets program, setting a public hearing for the temporary alcohol license for events ordinance, and our regular liquor business and gambling licenses. Are there any items anyone would like to pull off the consent agenda? Seeing none, I'll move the consent agenda. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That item is approved. We'll then go back to item number 1, which is a land sale at 4530 Bryant Avenue North. Mr. Ramadan, welcome.
Thank you, Madam Chair, council members. (4530) Bryant Avenue North. We're recommending sale through Minneapolis Homes, formerly the Vacant Housing Recycling Program, for the policies of the program established by the City Council on December 11th, 2015. Staff recommends sale of 4530 Bryant Avenue North to Minnesota Construction Incorporated for $5,000 subject to conditions. 4530 was acquired on October 14, 2011 from HUD for $13,632 under the Neighborhood Stabilization Program land banking activity. The structure was on the property was subsequently demolished. The staff marketed and reviewed one application received in accordance with the program manual. Minnesota Construction proposes to build a 2,500 square foot, 3-bedroom, 2.5-bath, single-family home with attached 2-car garage. The property will be marketed for owner occupancy at an estimated sale price of $200,000 to $220,000. All land sale proceeds equal to the fair market value will be returned to the NSP program. Construction management staff has reviewed the scope of work and the construction estimate and confirmed that it's sufficient to meet the program's new construction standards. The Lynn Bohannon neighborhood received notification on June 7, 2017, and returned a letter in support of Minnesota Construction, Inc. on June 6, 2017. Are there any questions?
Are there any questions for Mr. Ramadan on item number 1? Seeing none, thank you for your report. We'll open the public hearing on item number 1, which is a land sale at 4530 Bryant Avenue North. Is there anyone here to speak to this issue? Anyone? Anyone? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Councilmember Fry.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move approval of this item.
Approval of item number 1 has been moved. Further comments and questions? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That item is approved. On to item number 2, Mr. Ramadan.
Madam Chair, council members, we have 4236 Snelling Avenue South. This again through the sale of Minneapolis Homes, formerly the Vacant Housing Recycling Program. Policies in the program established by the City Council on December 11, 2015. Staff recommends the sale of 4236 Snelling Avenue South to Joanne Correa for an appraised value of $30,000 subject conditions. And if Joanne Correa fails, to sell to Ibiza LLC for an appraised value of $30,000 subject to conditions. 4236 Snelling Avenue South was acquired on May 19, 2016 from Hennepin County as tax forfeited land for $25,000. Staff market and 2 open houses were held on the property in April 2017 with notification now to a listserv of over 1,700. Staff received and reviewed 7 applications in accordance with the program manual and is recommending the top two scoring applicants. It's constructed in 1950. This is a 488 square foot, two-bedroom, one-bath, single-family home. The purchaser intends to rehabilitate and expand as a four-bedroom, three-bath, single-family home to live in as the owner-occupant. The alternate purchaser intends to rehabilitate as a two-bedroom, one-bath, single-family home and sell exclusively to owner-occupants. The purchaser proposes to invest $170,300 to rehabilitate the property. The alternate purchaser intends to invest $178,750, but this includes $10,800 in marketing commission and $15,000 in developer fees. CPED's construction management staff reviewed the scope of work and estimates submitted by the applicant and confirmed they are sufficient to meet the minimum rehabilitation standards of the program. Notification was provided to the Longfellow Community Council. They did not provide a response.
And this is a 1,400 square foot house, right?
It is currently 1,488 square foot,
You said 14,000. I thought that would be really big.
and it would be great for that area.
Are there any questions for Mr. Ramadan on item number 2? Seeing none, thank you for your report. We'll open the public hearing. This is a land sale at 4236 Snelling Avenue South. Is there anyone here to speak to this issue? Anyone? Oh, come on up. You're Joanne.
I am Joanne.
Welcome.
Thank you. So I, as Matthew mentioned, would be buying this property to live into the place. And so I'm looking forward to your approval and looking forward to moving into the area.
Well, thank you so much for
Yes,
being
of
here
course.
today. Are there any questions for Joanne? Seeing none, thank you for being here. Is there anyone else here to speak to this issue? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Councilmember Fry.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move approval of this item.
Approval of item number 2 has been moved. Further comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That item is approved. Congratulations to you. Thank you for being here today. Very rarely does someone come on these kinds of land sales, so it's really wonderful you're here today. We'll move on then to item number 3. Ms. Kimball.
Chair Goodman, members of the committee, today I'm going to be presenting about progress on our infill housing staff recommendation that was originally approved by the City Council on February 10th. First is our long-term affordability program. Our original council objective was to provide affordability for a 30-year term that's renewable upon each property sale. $250,000 was provided for a minimum of 10 properties. Up to $25,000 of affordability gap would be provided to homeowners or developers with a dollar-for-dollar match required from non-city sources. We tested the concept, and we've been testing the concept in a pilot year and also restricted all of the infill parcels in South and Northeast Minneapolis for sale through a long-term affordability model. We released an RFQ on February 17th, 2017 that was due in March of 2017, and we've been accepting long-term affordability model applications on a rolling basis after that initial RFQ. To date, City of Lakes Community Land Trust has been the only responder. City of Lakes Community Land Trust applied for 2 properties in our current Minneapolis Homes RFP. Long-term affordability proposals were given significant weight in the request for proposals process that we did through the Minneapolis Homes Development Assistance process. And we also encouraged partnerships with City of Lakes Community Land Trust as the existing approved long-term affordability model. However, we did not receive any partnership applications through our Minneapolis Homes RFP. Staff concluded that there's a need to increase capacity of organizations to use long-term affordability assistance. And so because of that, we're recommending 3 actions. One is to modify long-term affordability so that it allows for either value gap or affordability gap to be used under the long-term affordability program. The second is to allow for a minimum 30-year term and remove the requirement for long-term affordability to renew upon each subsequent property sale. That modification in particular will allow Habitat for Humanity that did apply through our Minneapolis Homes RFP to participate in the long-term affordability program. Effectively, it would change the number of long-term affordable homes from the 2 homes that are proposed by City of Lakes Community Land Trust to a total of 6 homes, including 4 that are proposed by Habitat for Humanity. And then our third recommendation is to direct staff to research and recommend a city-sponsored long-term affordability model that could facilitate other developers participating. Build Wealth Minnesota, for example, expressed interest in participating in a long-term affordability home sale model, but wasn't certain about how to achieve it with a particular formula or how to move forward with creating a model. And so we're looking for the city to potentially explore creating a city-sponsored model. Any questions about long-term affordability and the modifications that are recommended before I move into the remainder of the presentation?
So I'm wondering, Ms. Kimball, so all of the rest of the homes then we're selling at below market value or cheap price, and we're giving them money, and there's no guarantee of any affordability?
Our minimum program requirement is affordability at 115% of area median income. We did encourage proposers or developers to make homes affordable at 80% of area median income, and then also provided additional priority points if they would create a long-term affordable product at 80% of area median income. So we received a range of all 3 of those.
But in
types.
the end, what's to guarantee if the family moves into the house and they're already at 115% of area median income, what's to say they won't sell the house in 5 years?
There is not a requirement that there is not a program provision that would prohibit them from selling the home.
So why are we moving forward with this at all? The whole point of the program was to have long-term affordability. And I would argue 115% of the Metro-wide median isn't really affordable housing anyway, but we can debate that point later. But why are we then, so it looks like the other 8 people on this list just got a sweetheart deal. And are we advertising sweetheart deals? You don't have to, you just have to have someone at 115% of MMI, and then you can sell the house after 2 years, make a profit, and leave?
So the long-term affordability program was the program that had the 30-year restriction. Our Minneapolis Homes Development Assistance Program was framed as having 115% of area median income as its upper limit. And the assistance that we're providing in the case of the Development Assistance Program is the difference between the total development cost of a home and its appraised value upon sale. So it's providing that difference in value gap. It's not providing a subsidy directly to the home buyers.
Well, I mean, it is. It is. We can debate whether or not we agree with that, but it is providing a subsidy to someone who then could buy the house at 115% and turn around and sell it a year later for that price plus some, and not be affordable. And we could have 70,000 in a deal like that. It looks to me like some of them have smaller subsidies and others have larger subsidies.
Correct. There's a range of subsidies, in particular because we encourage proposals that were efficient in addition to meeting some of the targets that we had established for marketing and outreach to underserved populations.
So if it's an underserved population, they get bonus points, but they don't necessarily have to need affordable housing.
Well, again, all of the projects have to be affordable at 115% of area.
Okay,
median
what is
income or
that
below.
number? I'm going to guess it's 50,000 or more a year.
It's roughly 98,000.
Yeah, so I would qualify under my city salary
Mhm.
as needing affordable housing under this program. Okay, well, I'm not doing that. Maybe everyone else wants to do that, but I'm not going to do that. So why don't we you're not going to be able to fix it in committee here. So either we can postpone, I want to move forward with the Habitat and City of Lakes Community Land Trust actions today.
Okay.
Because I understand those as being truly affordable. I read the entire report. I've had 2 weeks to read it. Never once did I realize there was no trigger to make sure the house would be affordable for any period of time. It sounds like there's no period of time at which these houses need to be affordable except for when you buy it.
There is a period of time that's established with a $5,000 that's provided as homebuyer down payment assistance. It's modeled after our neighborhood stabilization program and also how the Green Homes North program was structured. And that homebuyer assistance is repayable upon sale of the property.
But it's only 5,000.
Correct.
And the rest of them are fair. I mean, if you start looking through the reports, there's land write-downs, there's gap assistance. Some of them have fairly significant contributions.
Correct. And the reason is because a majority of these projects are located in North Minneapolis where sale prices are depressed and cannot support the cost of building a new construction home.
I'm concerned about making sure really poor people get housed,
Mhm.
not people at 90. I'm an example. All the people sitting, Alondra, you and I are renters. Maybe we should get in on this program. Well, we can't because we don't live in the right location.
Well, and to provide some
Oh, and Jacob,
context,
sorry, is it
the
Jacob?
Green Homes North program also had an upper area median income value limit of 115% of area median income. However, the people who actually purchased those homes were typically at 56% of area median income. So typically we're earning $48,000 a year as the average across the 49 homes that have been sold that are Green Homes North homes. The projects that were created through Green Homes North, which again this project is modeled after, are the most affordable new construction homes available in the entire city of Minneapolis. The average sale price of Green Homes North homes was around $186,000 through this proposal. The range is anywhere from as low as $180,000 to $220,000. And the average sale price from 2014 through 2016, the average sale price of a new construction home in the city of Minneapolis was $566,000. So I believe that there is an argument and a need for us to fill that development gap between the amount that a project costs and what its end sale price is. And I also believe that the projects, once they're complete, are an affordable option for a new construction home that doesn't exist elsewhere in the city.
Well, that might be true if they were required to be affordable for any period of time, but they're not. So it sounds like it's a wealth building initiative, not an affordable housing initiative. And so I'm not interested in that. And I guess I'll see what my colleagues think. But I'm not going to see a story in tomorrow's paper that said the city calls affordable housing affordable for city council members, because that's kind of what you're saying. Ms. Brennan.
Madam Chair, members of the committee, if I may, this overall program is the result of a year-long stakeholder engagement process that was led by Councilmember Yang to look at our infill lots that the city owned and to identify a strategy for developing those. So the Minneapolis Homes program had several different components to it. One is the developer assistance, the other is the long-term affordability, and then there's another home buyer initiated model that hasn't been discussed yet. So those, the strategy was presented and approved by the council in early 2017 after the recommendations were formed through this committee process over 2016. Prior to the recommendations that were made out of this committee in early 2017, prior to that, we didn't have any long-term affordability requirement or any long-term affordability focus. So the fact that we now have more of a focus on long-term affordability and some of the funds are set aside specifically for that. In addition, there's a priority. So proposals that have long-term affordability are going to beat out proposals that don't. So we have added this element of long-term affordability where it wasn't here before. So the 5-year Green Homes North program did not have a long-term affordability priority. We've recently added that within the criteria that have been approved for the 2017 program. This 2017 program is a pilot program. So one of the things that we should do is look this year at how the pilot program works and to see how we can better encourage additional long-term affordability and build on that long-term affordability. And as Roxanne mentioned, one of the things that we want to do is provide a mechanism for developers to include long-term affordability. A lot of them just, they build houses and they sell houses to people based on certain criteria that we have. But if we want to provide some kind of mechanism where the city then could play a more active role in ensuring that subsequent purchasers also meet income requirements and that sale prices are managed so that they're still affordable, we can certainly do that.
Okay, what do you guys want to do? Councilmember Quincy.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Ms. Kimball and Ms. Brennan for kind of illuminating a couple of concerns. I was initially, when I looked at this, I was very excited. We were starting to move a lot of property, and that was really good. I think putting it out in such a way that these developers are able to respond to it and to move forward with the project that we had established the strategy for, I'm generally in favor of it. I just wanted to know, is there a way that we could build in some form of clawback or some sort of mechanism that can assure that long-term affordability, or if there's a difference between sale price and this, can that be recaptured to be plowed back into this kind of program to make it sustainable? Because there's no way we're going to be able to entertain developers, as has been demonstrated for the last 15, 20 years, to develop undevelopable lots when there's such a gap in what it's worth and what it costs to develop. So if our intent is to fill gaps and to create opportunities for housing to be built in the block, I think we should be doing that. That's the purpose of that subsidy. I think what Councilmember Goodman, and I'm just speculating, is we don't want it to be seen as a giveaway to somebody who will be taking advantage of the program and process and profit from that, when that's not the intent. We don't want a speculator to come in and buy this purchase or purchase this property. We'd like it for affordable options long term. So is there a way we can build in a mechanism that would satisfy that concern of ours by still moving these properties forward?
I wouldn't be able to answer that on the spot at this moment. I think that's something that we would have to take as a directive as staff and discuss and then come back to committee.
Councilmember Frye.
I mean, there is a mechanism to keep it more affordable, which is more money. And that's not money that the council has presently allocated for this. I would love it if we would. But, in staff's defense, I do think what the assignment that they were charged with from the very beginning was to find ways to get some of these properties with some infill. And that wasn't possible due to either the shape of the parcel itself or the economy in general, which when you have a home that takes $250,000 or $300,000 to build, and then you can only sell it off for $180,000, who's ever going to make that sort of investment? It's a loss leader. And so, I mean, I think we just need to be thinking about very critically about what the goals are here. If the goals are affordability, I think all of us are all on board, which just means we need to further subsidize to allow for the affordability to be there. But that just requires an additional funding.
It doesn't cost any more to tell someone that they have to hang on to the lot or live in the house for a longer period of time.
I disagree. If a parcel that is limited in what you're able to do with it and when you're able to sell it costs less money. I'm sorry, it costs more money. So in other words, if you say, here's a parcel, you can do whatever it is that you want with it, you can sell it off at any time for any price, that parcel is then more valuable. If you restrict the use and the sale of the parcel, it becomes less valuable. I don't know. It makes sense.
I'm not going to debate you on this. Go ahead and support a project that will give people who make $100,000 a year an affordability gap subsidy. I'm not going to support that. Everyone can do their own thing. Councilmember Reich.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and I won't reiterate the points that have been observed here in our discussion and made in the presentation. It seems like we've achieved a lot that was set out for staff on the front end goals. You've highlighted some additional areas where we can do on the back end, the long term. We've done it in other areas. We've actually just ramped up our 15-year requirement to 30-year, just for the very concerns that you're raising. There's no reason that we can't do it here. If there's an economic impact to that, then that's part of the adjustment. But let's explore what we can do on the back end for long-term affordability, in addition to what we've done very successfully to achieve upfront goals, which clearly are here outlined. So I don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. but maybe there's a little more time to explore the back end. I leave that up to you, Madam Chair.
Well, there won't be for these properties. We'd be saying,
Oh,
sell these properties with these gaps, let wealthy people come and buy these houses, and we're cool with that. And then if they sell them in 2 years and make a profit, move on, there's no affordable housing, that's okay with us.
I
There
believe-
isn't anything for this program that says these lots have to be sold as affordable, or that they have to live there for any period of time. It doesn't even say they have to close and move in.
The program does require that the homes are sold to owner occupants, and it does require that developers sell the homes to owner occupants at the area median income that they proposed. So there are some proposals before you today for 80% of area median income, which is $65,700. And there are some proposals that go up to the 115% of area median income, which is the 98,000 number that I mentioned earlier. But again, that's the upper limit of what's allowable for sale of any of these properties. It means that someone who makes more than that amount can't purchase these properties. It does not mean that someone who earns that amount of money is definitively going to purchase these properties. As I mentioned, in the experience of the program, typically people at 56% of area median income have been purchasing the new construction homes that we create.
Why wouldn't we put that requirement on then?
It limits the pool of applicants.
To
So
only poor
our-
people, or people who can't afford to buy a house, right?
Our program requires that projects are completed within a 12-month period of time, and there have been some instances where there has been a need to go above 80% of area median income in order to ensure that the home is sold and we're meeting our funders' obligations. As a reminder, $500,000 of City of Minneapolis funds are proposed as part of the development gap assistance. We have leveraged those funds with Hennepin County HRA funds, and then also with Minnesota Housing Funds in the proposal today.
Okay, so let's take them one at a time, and we can all vote on each. Councilmember Frye.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I don't know if this is for Ms. Brennan or otherwise, but if we were to be striving for a deeper affordability, below 115%, so at 80% or 70% or 90% or whatever, is there another mechanism that you can think of other than additional subsidy? And if there were an additional subsidy beyond the gap fill that's presently there, do we have the funds to do it? If so, maybe there's a staff direction in here to see where we can hunt down some additional funds to bridge that gap further to allow for the affordability to exist.
The primary challenge that we discovered with requiring all homes to be long-term affordable, and one of the main reasons why we're coming before the council today with recommendations for modifications for the long-term affordable program, is that currently there's only one organization that knows how to provide for long-term affordability, and that's City of Lakes Community Land Trust. Unless we modify our long-term
Contract with
affordable
them.
program,
Okay.
then Twin Cities Habitat for Humanity can't participate. And then there's a further need for us to do a deep exploration of how we might provide direction and support to other developers that would want to participate. And so that's why we're making those recommendations today, because we're trying to explore ways to increase the number of long-term affordable projects over time.
So, Councilmember Frye, we ask for perpetual affordability. That's the land trust model. That isn't completely workable. So now we've gone back to 30 years of affordable. That will allow Habitat to come in. But actions being taken today means 3 months affordable, because there's absolutely no restriction other than if they get more money for home buyer assistance, then they write down the $5,000, probably $1,000 a year for 5 years. Is that what it is?
It's $5,000 deferred, so it's not forgiven over a period of time.
But at the end of how many years is it forgiven? 5?
Actually, at the end of 30 years.
So at the end of
It's a
30
30-year
years,
term.
they wouldn't have to pay back $5,000, but you're talking about $280,000 houses here. So $5,000 is not really super significant in the larger purchase price. Okay. Any other questions? Oh, I'm sorry, Councilmember Cano.
Yeah, no, thank you, Madam Chair. I was just trying to think about this with the intent. So, I'm really supportive of the long-term affordability component, and that's something that folks in my ward are really concerned about. given the rising rents, the stagnant wages, and the rising cost of homes in areas like Phillips and Powderhorn. So I guess I'm curious to know, from your assessment then, the reason why we only had proposals come in from the land trust is because the way that the formula is set up, and not because there isn't an interest from other developers to start doing long-term affordable housing.
To clarify, we did not have a required formula that we advertised as part of the long-term affordability request for qualifications. We effectively asked developers or home sale models to propose to us how they would achieve affordability over a 30-year term that's renewable. At the time that we did the request for qualifications, City of Lakes Community Land Trust responded. Habitat for Humanity did not respond at the time of the RFQ, but said they would have interest if we limited to a 30-year term that's not non-renewable. And Build Wealth Minnesota expressed interest, but simply expressed that they need assistance or they need capacity building with understanding how to achieve long-term affordability for that period of time. And that's why we're proposing that staff research options and look at other cities in order to try to build our capacity to respond.
Okay.
Further questions for staff?
Alfred Poit, Manager of Residential and Real Estate Development. I wanted to respond to Councilmember Fry's question about additional financing. At the approval of the program design, Council directed staff or gave staff the authorization to allow program income to be generated to support additional efforts. It's envisioned that some of the program income that's going to be generated as a result of this program can be used to provide support for continued support for long-term affordability. So I just wanted to address the concern that
What program income is being generated by this program?
land sale proceeds.
But they're all like losses. Every one of them is a loss. It's not a profit.
So all of the land sale proceeds directed from sales from all of the properties that we sell. In some instances, we purchase properties for less than its fair market value and then sell it for for its fair market value. There's a delta there that provides for program income that can be used to support ongoing support to the program that we talked about.
Okay,
So it's not
do you want me
just
to start
these land
reading out
sales.
loud the losses on each of these lots? They're not just the purchase of the property, it's the acquisition and demolition cost, the cost to assemble. And almost every one of these is at a loss. I'm looking at them. Should I read them out loud to you? I don't know how there's program income. The income is money, property tax money that goes into the program.
Councilmember Goodman, it's not just the land, vacant land. The program also entails some of the properties that Matthew brings to the table for rehab purposes. Those we purchase some of them for $1, sell them for $30,000. There is program income that's generated from the sale of some of these projects. And those program incomes, I'm suggesting that there is an opportunity for us to go back and revisit and try to respond to the concern that Councilmember Fry raised.
Okay, I'm glad you brought this up because I'm going to actually introduce a staff direction at the end of this to see an audit of all the properties that have been sold, how much we've paid for them, how much our demolition costs were, how much our acquisition costs were, and how much money we actually make on this program. I would argue, and we have argued to affordable housing advocates, that these efforts cost us money and that they're a contribution towards our affordable housing efforts. I've never once heard that we make money on this. So I'm very interested to see how much money we make on this that we put back into the program. Councilmember Fry.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I could be wrong, but I don't think that Elfrick is saying that we make money on the net. I think what he's saying is that we certainly lose money on the net. We know that, just given the differentials that we have to pay out. Where we make money incrementally is on the sale of some of these properties where we get them for $1 and sell them for 30. So on the whole, I think you're right.
They're not. There's just not any like that.
Madam Chair, if I may.
I'll give you the last one. Well, let's just use 4530 Bryant Avenue North, something Mr. Ramadan just brought up today. Purchase price, $13,632. Acquisition, $16,993. Total cost to assemble, $30,000. Reuse value option for sale to a homeowner, $5,000. CPED write-off, $25,625. They all go like that. So if it's about whitewashing money, that I buy, that argument, we get money from the federal government or others, we do this, and then it becomes clean for us to spend to do something else, but we're not making money on this. The city's not in the business of making money, but there's not program income from this.
Madam Chair, if I may, members of the committee, you are correct. Overall, the program does not make money. Secondly, if it's all right with the committee, we could postpone this item and come back in the next cycle and provide some additional information. I think that there's been a little bit of confusion about what is being requested here. There's two different actions that I think have been somewhat confused, and we would like an opportunity to be able to take the next cycle and clarify some of those points of misunderstanding.
Aside from moving forward with the habitat and land trust, land sales today.
So the requested action today is to move forward with the land sales as well as the development assistance, as well as to change our definition of long-term affordability. So the proposed land sales and the proposed development assistance are completely in line, in accordance with the policies and the procedures and the guidelines that were adopted by the council earlier this year. So we issued an RFP in accordance with that council direction. We received proposals and we're making recommendations in accordance with the criteria that were established by council. In addition to that, we've asked for flexibility in how we define long-term affordability so that it's not just the community land trust model, which really is perpetual affordability, but to allow for a habitat affordability model, which allows for 30 years of affordability. And as well as other models that allow for 30 years of affordability, but maybe not beyond 30 years or perpetually affordable.
So what are you asking to postpone?
We could postpone the entire request at this time and come back and clarify the request.
Members of the committee? Councilmember Ike?
Well, it seems though if we went, just going back to the project proposals themselves, some of them, as we've noted, like the land trust actually has the sort of back end affordability that we want. So it seems like they're getting caught up, projects like that, I'd rather phrase it, are getting caught up in a broader conversation. So I don't know if we can, would there be any harm to the building schedule for those who clearly comport to our objectives of long-term affordability as presented today?
Is Mr. Washburn here? I didn't see him. Oh, someone from, I'm sorry, can you come forward? Is someone from Habitat here?
I don't believe so, no.
Okay. Do you want us to delay your land sale or do you want us to take up your land sale today?
Our preference would be that you take up our land sale today.
Thank you for being here.
And so, and Madam Chair, just makes the point, they are comporting to our objectives.
Yeah, let's take that one up. Is there consensus on that? Okay. Is that what you're asking to do then? Everything other than everything will be postponed other than the community land trust land sales?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yes? Okay. Because we have a public hearing, so I want to make sure there's no more questions before we open the public hearing, because then anyone who's in the room can get up and speak. And I think there's people who are looking to me like they want to, probably to yell at me, but that's okay.
Chair Goodman, would you like me to complete the staff presentation? I had initially intended to present about the long-term affordability and then separately present about the development assistance program manual and the recommendation that's before the council. I'm assuming that given there's
Alfred's shaking his head no.
Okay, I'll sit down.
So I think what we're going to do is postpone item 3 sections 1, 2, and 3, aside from item 3, section 3, number 3. Thank you, Casey Carl, for that confusing ordering. And we'll take up the sale of 2631 6th Street Northeast, 2528 14th Avenue South. Are there 4? Did I miss 2 of them? Just those 2. Okay, so this is a public hearing on the staff report regarding Minneapolis Homes Long-Term Affordability Program Modification and Development Assistance land sales. There could be a number of people who work for these wonderful organizations who are here today who want to do this work, and we will postpone this item and have another public hearing, to be fair. So if you're here and want to speak today, you should speak today. If you'd like to come back and speak when we take this up, that's okay too. So I'm opening the public hearing. Please, if you want to speak, just line up behind the podium and just state your name and address for the record, please.
Thank you. I'm actually here about 3-6. It's a property at 3006 Russell Avenue North, which is directly next to my house. I was talking to not only people at Hennepin County property tax, but I've also been talking to Roxanne and my chair, my city council member, about this land, because I've been watching this property since I bought my house. Because there's 2, I thought it was 1 vacant lot next to my house, but it's technically 2. When I talked to Roxanne, she's like, honey, there's another lot between the 2 of your houses that you might want to buy first before you move on, because we had some plans. Me and my mother own the house directly next to this house, or next to this land. And I had expressed an immense amount of serious interest. I've been diligently calling them. And the only reason why I knew it was even for sale is because I was just continuously looking on the county property tax information. And I actually, before it got sold to HRA, I was just waiting for it to come for sale. So every time someone would come in from the city and mow the lawn, I was like, hey, just keep me posted on when it comes up for auction. I like to buy it because it's so close to my house, because we had intentions on buying the house so that we could build another house for our family, because we have such a large family. But then we also wanted to buy the land on the corner as well to turn that into a community garden, because the land has been vacant for 3 years. So we were talking with Roxanne at the city level to try to get that established. And she just kept telling me, just wait for the auction, wait for the auction. Well, it never came. And when I was told that it was sold, it was very disheartening, because I was like, I really, really want this property. We barely have a 5x10 yard. And we could add that to our property line, and it would take that and increase our property value in order to increase our taxes on our property. We were listening and very disheartened, because I work 3 jobs and I can't afford what they were proposing. And I was just like commending you from where I was sitting, like, thank you for somebody for speaking up for us. I work 3 jobs and I can't afford these houses that they're proposing. So for them to buy the land right next to my house, I couldn't buy that house for my family. So I'm here today to ask you all to take this house or this land off of this proposal so that I can buy it as a port of interest sale, because I'm so willing to buy this land for $2,500. They told me that I have to pay $10,000. So for big business to get it for $2,500 is like stabbing me, because I want this, because I believe in my neighborhood. I want to stay there. And everyone's being pushed out because they can't afford it. So I'm just asking that. I'm just a little frustrated.
So right now, we're going to postpone this, so
Okay.
nothing's going to be sold.
So when is it going to be sold?
Nothing is being,
Okay,
we're
so
only taking up item number 3.3.3, which is a land sale that's not this one.
So there's no way of taking this off this list today?
Not unless you're going to build a house next to you. So there probably is time for more conversation, but we don't sell buildable lots for side yards or community gardens either. So if this is being postponed, that's like the fluke of the program thing that happened here today, was the lot next to you is not being sold today. So there's still time to discuss.
Okay, so how would I
potentially could
go
happen.
about getting this off their list? Because I've talked to everyone, and they have more rights than I do as a civilian. It's what it seems like.
This is a lot that's buildable. So if you were going to build a house,
But this is a forfeited lot.
yep, it's in the city's inventory as a buildable lot.
Right, but from what I'm understanding of what the laws are within the city and the county is that you don't have to initially build on this lot within 12 months. A lot of the lots around it, because it's city owned, has to be built on within 12 months. And I just don't have that money readily available. But this being taken and purchased by me and my family over time can be built on, which is the intention. But because it's a tax forfeited property, we have more time. By the city, if it's a city lot, we have to build within 12 months. And unlike some of these people that have the money to do that, we don't have that money. But with over time, by building the equity in the house that we have, by doing some of the things that we need to do to our house, we will be able to take that equity out and build on that lot, which we intend to do.
Okay, well, I appreciate your testimony. We can't resolve your problem here
Right.
today, but we're not selling the lot either.
Okay.
Not at this moment.
So how do you get city notice for future reference when this next, because I had to literally dig for this notice.
I think you should talk to Roxanne.
Okay.
She's shaking her head. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Madam Chair, council members, my name is Stacy Horowitz, and I'm with the Operations Director at the City of Lakes Community Land Trust. We just wanted to take this opportunity to thank this committee and the City Council and CPED staff for the long-term affordability program that we talked about today, and its commitment and purpose to keeping homes affordable beyond 30 years. The City of Lakes Community Land Trust has now over 250 perpetually affordable homes in the city of Minneapolis and is close to being one of the largest urban community land trusts in the country, in large part thanks to the support from the city and the funding that has been received. With homes appreciating at a wicked pace in our community, it's incredibly important for both policy and funding, which has been discussed today, to ensure permanent affordability in portions of our ownership housing stock. Policy decisions like the long-term affordability program provide us a chance to leverage additional funding investments many times over, especially through the Community Land Trust strategy. Through past opportunities with the Twin Cities Habitat for Humanity, as well as other nonprofit and for-profit developers, we have been able to create and ensure permanent affordability throughout the city of Minneapolis. Moving forward, we believe the partnership approach allows us to add to stock of perpetually affordable, sustainable home ownership housing while complementing the work of one another and leveraging investments 30 years and beyond. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. Ms. Horowitz, is there capacity at the Land Trust to take on more than 2 in a year?
We are doing now about 4 to 6 a year. This just happened to be the 2 that were in line. We already have 4 other new construction in process.
So that's about the level of
About 6 per year, because we do about anywhere from 30 to 40 new homes a year, but it's through our buyer initiated program as well as acquisition, rehab, and new construction. So it's a combination of different avenues into home ownership through the Land Trust.
Right. Thank you. Thanks for your testimony. Is there anyone else here to speak to this issue? Please.
I just have a quick question for you.
Please state your name.
My name is Tony Gaines, and I live at 3010 Russell, right next to 3006. When you say build on it, you're talking about a house?
Yes.
Anything? Okay.
Yes.
And you have a 12-month period to build on that house?
Yeah. I'm looking at staff to, yes, if the city owns a lot, we sell buildable lots for redevelopment, and you have 12 months, through a redevelopment contract, you'd have 12 months to start construction.
Okay.
To complete construction.
Okay. Thank you.
Ms. Kimball, has everybody completed construction within 12 months? Please step up. Yeah, don't scream from the audience. Just come on up. Does everyone make, I'm just curious now that they pointed that out.
We do try to enforce the 12-month completion deadline. If a project is not complete within 12 months, then we typically have a conversation with that developer and will not approve any additional projects to that home buyer or developer until the default is cured or the project is completed.
I see. Okay, thank you. Is there anyone else here to speak to this issue? Anyone? Anyone? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. I'm going to move to approve item 3, subsection 3, land sale 3, which is the sale of 2631 6th Street Northeast and 2528 14th Avenue South to the City Lakes Community Land Trust. I'm just wondering, and then there's a subsidy component that comes with it. Is that in a different action, or is that all in this action?
That is in a different action. The next action is, pardon me, authorizing city officials to enter into related agreements with the selected developer or affiliated entities.
Okay. Irene, can you note that for these two properties so that we can clear them out and they can get going, since they only have 12 months apparently to get this done. So, and then the balance of the report, which is item 3, sections 1 and 2, and sections 3, 1 and 2, 4 through 12 will be postponed, and item 4. Is that correct? Okay, that's the motion on the table. Did I close the public hearing? The public hearing is closed. The motion on the table, I think, is as I described. Is that correct, Councilmember Quincy? Okay, all in favor of that motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That item, the tiny portion of that item is approved. We'll move on to item number 4. Mr. Wilson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We have an application by Blarney 2 Inc., doing business as Blarney's Pub, for a on-sale liquor license with Sunday sales Class C2 at 903 Washington Avenue South. And this will be the second on-sale liquor license in that building for Blarney's Pub. The two couldn't be connected, so a second license was required. This is in the downtown east neighborhood in Ward 3. The new location will have seating inside for 50 persons, outside for 30. This is owned by 100% by Michael Marooney. A public hearing is required. Notices were mailed to residents and property owners within 400 feet of the premises on June 26th of this year. We notified the East Downtown Council and the Warehouse District Business Association and the Downtown Minneapolis Neighborhood Association. We received no responses for or against this application. We find they meet all of our requirements and recommend that the application be approved.
Are there any questions for Mr. Wilson on item number 4? Seeing none, we'll open the public hearing on item number 4, which is a new business license for Blarney 2 at 903 Washington Avenue South. Is there anyone here to speak to that issue? Anyone here from Blarney's? Just a little infomercial.
Mike Mulroney from Blarney Pub. Yeah, all we're trying to do is just add additional space that's going to be a indoor or outdoor type of space so that we can provide for outdoor dining and activity.
That's great. Thank you for being here today. Is there anyone else here to speak to this issue? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Councilmember Fry.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Look, I move forward approval of this item and look forward to checking out the outdoor space.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That item is approved. We'll move on to item number 5. Mr. Wilson.
Madam Chair, we have an application by Cochina Latina Restaurant at 3764 Nicollet, and they're adding a sidewalk cafe. This will be on the 38th Street side of the premises. This is in the Kingfield neighborhood, Ward 8. They'll have exterior seating on the sidewalk for 16 persons. Public hearing is required. We notified all property owners and residents and neighborhood groups and business associations. We received 8 responses from that notification process. All of them are in support of the application. Staff is also in support of the application and recommend that it be approved.
Are there any questions for staff on item number 5? Seeing none, we'll open the public hearing on item number 5. This is an expansion of premise. Is there anyone here to speak to this issue? Please step forward, state your name and address for the record.
Silvia Sacta, the business.
Su nombre y su dirección.
2930 Polk Street, Northeast.
2130 Polk Street, Northeast.
Okay, perhaps you could just tell us about what you're doing. A little commercial for your business.
¿Qué está haciendo en su
Somos una
negocio?
familia, un restaurante de familia.
We're a family restaurant.
Estamos por 9 años ya.
We have been in business for 9 years.
Y queremos agregar para que la comunidad latina venga y tenga.
And we want to expand so the Latino community and everybody in the neighborhood can come and hang out.
That's great. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. Are there any questions on item number 5? Anyone else to speak on item number 5? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Councilmember Cano.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would like to move this item forward.
Item number 5 has been moved for approval. Further comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That item is approved. We'll move on to item number 6. Mr. Wilson.
Madam Chair, we have an application for an on-sale liquor license with Sunday Sales Class B from Hopcat Minneapolis LLC for the premises at 435 Nicollet Mall. This is in the downtown west neighborhood in Ward 3. It will have interior seating for 208 persons and outside seatings for 100 persons. A public hearing is required for this application. We notified all property owners and residents within 450 feet and the Downtown Minneapolis Neighborhood Association, the Warehouse District Business Association. We received no responses for or against the application, and staff's recommendation is that it be approved.
Are there any questions for Mr. Wilson on item number 6? Seeing none, we'll open the public hearing on item number 6, which is a new business license at 435 Nicollet Mall called Hopcat. Is there anyone here to speak to this issue? Please step forward, state your name and address for the record.
Good afternoon, Councilmember Goodman, members of the council. My name is Kate Becker, and I am the attorney here in the Twin Cities that has been working with staff in connection with Hopcat's liquor license. With me today, I have Kevin Kozak, who is the vice president for the company and handles all the construction and development, and he's happy to talk a little bit about the business.
Great, please do.
Yes, we're very excited to come to town. This will be our 14th location that we have across the Midwest. We partner up with local breweries in Minnesota. We actually have 30 of them on draft at all times. And then we have 50 other draft beers that we serve, that we team up with breweries around the world. We're a scratch kitchen. We like to sell ourselves as scratch food that your mom would like if she liked craft beer. That's it.
You have Guinness on tap?
What's that?
Do you have Guinness on tap?
Sometimes. It's ever rotating. We actually have a beer program manager that's full-time on site. That's all he does is process beer orders. So it's a constant ebb and flowing
Great.
beer in there.
Further comments, questions? Thank you for your testimony. Is there anyone else here to speak to this issue? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Councilmember Fry.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Really excited about this one. Happy to move approval.
Approval has been moved. Further comments and questions? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That item is approved. On to item number 7, Mr. Wilson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We have an application by Nata Corp. They do business as It's Greek to Me at 626 West Lake Street, and they are seeking a sidewalk cafe. This will be on the Lindale side of the premises. This is in the Whittier neighborhood in Ward 10, and this new cafe, sidewalk cafe, will seat 18 persons. We notified all residents and property owners of today's application and today's public hearing. We received 2 responses. Both were in support. The application seems to meet all of our requirements and recommend that it be approved.
Any questions for Mr. Wilson on item number 7? Seeing none, we'll open the public hearing on item number 7, which is a sidewalk cafe expansion of premise. Is there anyone here to speak to this issue? Anyone? Anyone? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Councilmember Quincy.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to move this item forward for approval.
Approval of item number 7 has been moved. Further comments, questions? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That item is approved. We'll move on to item number 8, Mr. Wilson.
Madam Chair, we have an application by Team DHW LLC. They do business as Blaze Pizza at 1000 Washington Avenue Southeast. They're seeking a sidewalk cafe license and a special late night food license. They currently operate with an on-sale wine and beer license, Class E, and they have been at this address since November of 2015 when the building was newly constructed. Sidewalk Cafe will have 18 seats, and they are requesting to be open late night until 3 a.m. Thursday through Saturday. Alcohol service will stop at 1 a.m. for all those nights, and late night there will be only food until 3 a.m. This is in the Prospect Park, East River Road neighborhood in Ward 2. We notified all residents and property owners within 300 feet of today's public hearing. We also notified the Prospect Park East River Road Neighborhood Association and the Stadium Village Commercial Business Association. We received no responses for or against the application, and staff recommends approval.
Are there any questions for Mr. Wilson on item number 8? Seeing none, we'll open the public hearing on item number 8, which is an expansion of premise for Blaze Pizza. Is there anyone here to speak to this issue? Please step forward, state your name and address for the record.
Hello, my name is John Tyler with obviously Blaze Pizza, and we've been open, as mentioned, since November 2015, so almost 2 years now. And we just want to continue to expand, and hopefully the late night hours and the patio will help with that.
Thank you. Thank you for being here today. Any other comments or questions? Anyone else to speak at the public hearing? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing and call on Councilmember Fry.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move approval of this item.
Approval has been moved. Comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That item is approved. Our final item today is item number 13. I'll note this is not a public hearing. It is a discussion item. Mr. Wilson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. At the last meeting of this committee on June 20th, a public hearing was held to take public comment on the application by Clubhouse Jaeger, which is located at 923 Washington Avenue North. They were seeking to upgrade their on-sale liquor license to a Class B license, which allows all forms of live musical entertainment indoors. For that public hearing, we received 14 written comments and received a few residents and received comments from residents at the public hearing who spoke against this license upgrade. Action on the license at the last committee was postponed, and a staff direction was given for staff to meet with the Clubhouse Jaeger owner and management to address the concern raised at that public hearing. Staff from the License and Consumer Services Division and the Environmental Management Division did meet with the owners and manager of Clubhouse Jaeger. We believe we developed a set of license conditions that will address the concerns raised at the last public hearing. And also our environmental management staff did conduct on-site evaluations and testing of the amplified sound equipment that is used at Clubhouse Jaeger. Maximum levels were determined and so that they could be set during operating hours. 8 specific license conditions were developed that are included in today's packet that we believe, if followed, will allow the business to operate with a Class B license and not negatively affect nearby residents and property owners. The conditions include amplified sound at Clubhouse Jaeger will remain in compliance with the Minneapolis Sound Ordinance and the recommendations made by our environmental management staff at their site visit on June 23rd. The speakers in the outdoor patio at Clubhouse Jaeger will be turned off by 10 p.m. nightly, and any live entertainment or music generated inside the building will not be played into the outdoor patio at Clubhouse Jaeger. And live entertainment will not be allowed in the outdoor area at Clubhouse Jaeger unless authorized by a temporary expansion license. Dedicated staff will ensure that patrons do not leave Clubhouse Jaeger's premises with containers of alcohol. They will control the dumpsters on their property and secure them correctly, which I know has already been completed. They will perform litter patrol around their premises as is already required by Chapter 36095 of our code. And the licensee will send a representative to attend at least 50% of our liquor in the city industry meetings with staff, which are monthly. Based on those license conditions, if adopted, staff's recommendation is to move forward and upgrade this license to a Class B on the interior only.
Mr. Wilson, one of the first conditions had to do with making sure there was no outdoor amplified music, and then you said unless they get a temporary permit. What is the notification process to the neighbors for the temporary permit?
Madam Chair, to the best of my knowledge, the outdoor amplified temporary sound permits are issued by our environmental management staff, and I do not believe there is a neighborhood notification process when those permits are issued.
So perhaps we should add to these conditions that they notify the neighbors should they be seeking an outdoor amplification permit for the first year. Just to ensure there's some sort of notification, because that's what we were hearing from folks, that they didn't want to confront the business owners when there were problems before, and they could all be more proactive. What do you think about that?
I think that's a fine idea. I think the owners are here today. If they would agree to that, we could amend these conditions and have them ready for Friday's meeting.
Okay. Are you two the owners? Mr. DeRoma, come on up. Do you object to my suggestion that should you seek an outdoor amplification permit that
Madam Chair, absolutely not. When we ever have pulled a permit prior, we have gone around and put up notices on the buildings around us.
Okay, great.
And, but sometimes I don't think the notices quite make it to all of the tenants.
Yeah, well, I lived in a condo too. Everyone doesn't read everything on the board, but an attempt to notify the neighbors, I think is a good.
We'll go out of our way to make things well.
Great. So if we could just add that as a condition, I think that would make a difference. And it would also make them feel like you were trying really hard to work it all out.
Okay. Well, we are.
Yeah.
Okay, because what we've done is something that's organically grown over 10 years. So.
Yeah.
But thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you for being here.
Or?
Nope. We're going to go ahead and call on Councilmember Fry.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move approval of this item, and I want to thank the owners of Club Jaeger for your willingness to engage and work together to find a solution that really works for everybody. And thank you for your 10 years worth of organic growth. I think Club Jaeger is a staple right now in North Loop there, and I hope you're there for another 30. Thanks.
On Councilmember Fry's motion to approve, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? That item is approved. Thank you for being here today. Seeing no further business before us, we are adjourned.